The judge just said, put your big boy pants on? Fuck you, Judge Johnston. Take your insults and shove them straight up your f***. How about that? How about you put your big boy pants on and realize that your entire career is fraud? You're oppressive. And he needs to put his big boy pants on? He is coming down to face a very powerful thug, a ruling gang member like yourself, who can put him in jail, no problem. You have a private army paid for and given to you to use at your discretion. He is coming in there with a single friend and unarmed. And he's the one that needs to put his big boy pants on?
Right now,
That's the only option right now.
right now you keep interrupting me and I'm not sure what I
I'm
want
giving
to
you your
say.
options, sir. I'm trying to confirm, that's all. How do you proceed, sir?
I'd like to proceed by going home without being threatened further with violence from this court that has no jurisdiction and refuses to show any whatsoever.
Am I being asked if I can enter a plea right now, or I'm not sure what you're asking?
Program, sir.
I don't blame the hero for not being as sharp as he's been at this moment, because he's in the moment and the heat's on. Obviously, he's feeling more pressure now than he's felt before with these frauds. So it's not going to be perfect. But he's given a chance to use the mic, and he just offered to hand it back to the judge. That's not what we want to do.
Which case, what's this, I don't know.
So instead, while I make a suggestion, if he's going to offer you the mic, just make it blatantly obvious, point to the guns in the room, and the failure to prosecute. Something like, well, I'd like to proceed by having the prosecutor submit evidence of jurisdiction so that I can make an informed plea of guilty, pay the fine, and be on my way. Does the prosecutor have any? I would just hit him right in the mouth with the meat and potatoes. And he'll probably come back with, oh, we're not going to do that today, because and this other reason, whatever.
Is there an offer? Is there
Yes, Your Honor, the state has actually given the offer at this point. I handed it to Judge Brooke in court at the last appearance. If the court would like to know the details of that offer, I'm more than happy to elaborate. If you would, please. The offer was to plead to 1 count, 8 hours of community service for dismissal, failure to relieve default, or 35 judge.
So they're making all this fuss, and threatens and warmer temperatures over a plea deal that has 0 fine, 0 jail, and 8 hours of community service because he challenged jurisdiction. That is strong evidence that this is the path to be on. This is the effective one. We know it because it terrifies them. And when they get scared, they get angry. There's no reason for a judge to get angry ever. This is a professional environment, and anger has no place in it. They only do it to threaten people, get them to quit what they're doing, and comply. If he signs that plea, included in accepting those 8 community hours is a guilty plea of some form. And it will basically be saying that our hero was wrong and the state was right all along. And jurisdiction did exist all along. And now the quote-unquote defendant has been informed. Okay? To sign that and take the 8 hours of community service on paper makes him a liar. Now, is it a huge deal? Like, oh, he pussed out? Of course not. Because you're dealing with the strongest government the world has ever known in modern history, for sure. And the threats are great. And over this kind of nothing, it's about mitigating violence. Nobody's going to have to put up with getting, abused to the extreme and threatened and going to jail for long periods of time over this. When they drag it out to that far, then go ahead and mitigate the violence.
all right, Ms. Christopher, you have an option. And it's customary in these matters to negotiate, as the state has offered me, extending an offer to you. I can't tell you whether it's a good offer, but it is the only offer on the table. You can say, I don't wish to accept that offer, and we'll set this matter for trial. Or you can say, I wish to accept the offer, in which case you have to enter a plea of guilty. And
There you have to enter a plea of guilty, which means you've been informed, which means their jurisdiction is valid, and it's not. Why do you think the state and piece of shit Judge Johnston are going to so much trouble over a sentence of 8 community hours, and that's it? Not even any mention of supervised release or phone calls or BS or follow-up. Just 8 hours and then that's it. Because they have to have the guilty plea. The guilty plea is job security. The guilty plea is compliance. It means they can continue with their hustle. The guilty plea means that judge is a good one. And that helps his cause for promotion. That's what a guilty plea is. They make it sound so simple because they want you to take it because it's in their best interest. But it's not. It's a lie. If you sign it, you're signing a lie, and you know it.
it appears as though if you perform 8 hours of community service, this matter would be dismissed.
It appears as though if you did 8 hours of community service, this matter would be dismissed. And I smell a threat coming on as another option.
That means no criminal charges, no other sanctions, nothing else would occur.
Concern me about the cause and nature of the hearing, then still.
We're not going to go into that. We're not going to go into that.
We're not going to go into that. We're not going to go into any of that. Why? Because it's relevant? Are you choosing to ignore a relevant issue on the table? Jurisdiction is an element of the crime, and I am supposed to be presumed innocent of every element of the crime. Therefore, you and this court, in order to do your duty and not be a traitor, have to presume I am innocent and release me immediately from any obligations or future threats of violence here or in the future. Do you understand me? That's logic, that's ethics, and you're a liar.
Collateral nonsense. You can.
Nonsense, he calls it.
Those are your options.
Those are your options. Objection, point of clarification. Are those options based on your arbitrary opinion or on legal facts and conclusions of law? Objection, point of clarification. Am I going to be doing community service hours based on your opinion or on actual facts and evidence?
How do you wish to proceed?
I wish to proceed by going home with no further threats of violence against me because this court doesn't have evidence of jurisdiction, refuses to submit it, refuses to even inform me as to whether it exists or not.
Put on your big boy pants, Tom.
The judge just said, put your big boy pants on? Fuck you, Judge Johnston. Take your insults and shove them straight up your ass. How about that? How about you put your big boy pants on and realize that your entire career is fraud? You're oppressive. And he needs to put his big boy pants on? He is coming down to face a very powerful thug, a ruling gang member like yourself, who can put him in jail, no problem. You have a private army paid for and given to you to use at your discretion. He is coming in there with a single friend and unarmed. And he's the one that needs to put his big boy pants on? Please, that is a joke.
What I'm asking is, I haven't even been arraigned, I'm still trying to understand the cause and nature of these proceedings.
How's that for big boy pants?
My understanding, so I'm sorry for interrupting, Judge, but my understanding is that he was in fact arraigned by Ms. Coletta downtown. These issues were brought up in the last hearing. Judge Gaston informed Mr. Estes that the cause and nature of these proceedings is that he's charged with a crime in the county of Multnomah, state of Oregon, and Judge Gaston made an explicit finding on the record that the court had jurisdiction over this action.
Thank you. You have that, right? So you're proceeding to start. How do you wish to proceed?
It's my intention.
I don't care about your intention.
It's my intention, and the judge, I don't care about your intention. He's trying to troll the hero, and obviously the hero is not falling for it. He's not falling for it. The judge is asking him a question, waiting for him to spit out 2 or 3 words, and it doesn't matter what those 2 or 3 words are. He's going to interrupt him as rudely as possible. And if I could tweak the performance here, I would say, Judge, that's the 3rd or 4th time you've interrupted me. You will not let me finish a sentence. May I please be allowed to speak without interruption? I am discussing relevant matters to the issues here today. Something like that. Or even shorter, objection. Will I be allowed to speak without interruption, or are you going to interrupt me every 4th word? Objection. Are you trying to cause me to be angry by constantly interrupting me after every 3rd word? Nah, that's too specific. Objection. Point of clarification. Do you allow defendants to speak in their defense? Yes or no? Objection. Point of clarification. Do I have a right to defend myself in this hearing today, here, now? I mean, you really got to put a magnifying glass on it. He's trying to troll him so he can throw him in jail.
Other than you gotta tell me what you want to do.
If he does get our hero in jail, then everybody that hears the story from the hero hears, I got thrown in jail. And then to them, that's like, oh God, I don't want to do that. I'm not going to listen to there if it ends up going to jail. These judges know that. They don't want this getting on YouTube with a success or a dismissal. Oh, hell no. They know that'll just bring dozens more to do the same. They know
You gotta answer my question.
They know the tipping point is near. And they're afraid. And that's why they get angry. And that's why they fight. And this is funded through your legislature and your stolen money via taxes. I'll rewind it a little bit here.
I don't care about your intention, other than you gotta tell me what you want to do. You gotta answer my questions. I'm not gonna go into the nonsense.
You gotta answer my questions, because I'm not gonna go on into your nonsense. Excuse me? Objection. Point of clarification. Is this to be a hearing under an adversarial system of equals or an inquisitorial system of punished and punisher? On the record, which is it, sir? Objection. Point of clarification. Can you please refrain from unprofessionally calling my words nonsense when they are very relevant and speaking to the evidence of misjurisdiction that is missing here in your courtroom today? Objection. Point of clarification. Are you positive that an appellate panel or an appeals court judge will consider the evidence of jurisdiction to be nonsense?
Attempting to answer your questions, and I believe that you are interrupting me at this point before I can ever make my intentions clear. So I feel like you are bullying.
Perfect. Perfect, hero. Nice counter. Nice. So, I feel like you're interrupting me, and I feel like you're bullying me. He just said that. Nice. Nice.
Here are the options. You wish to proceed.
And again, Judge Piece of Shit Johnston ignores that relevant counter, of course. You can't be responding to him bullying on the transcript and interrupting all the time. And so he just refers back again to, here are your options. Take the plea or say no, not guilty, and go to trial.
I wish to make an informed plea.
Okay, what does that mean?
Oh my God. So the hero says, I wish to make an informed plea. And the judge says, okay, what does that mean? Of course the judge knows good and well exactly what that means. And he's trying to see if the defendant will say something incorrect in the slightest so that he can attack it, shoot it down, and try and embarrass him with it.
I wish to, it's my intention to make an informed plea of guilty, but I have not yet been informed as to the cause and nature of the proceedings.
Okay.
Perfect response, hero. So the judge says, well, what do you mean by informed?